everybody, my name is Leonard Minquist. So today we're going to be talking about net income. So in daily life, in every business, or even when you're just doing your daily work, net income is something that measures basically how rich you are. But what is net income? What is the difference between net income and like the gross that you sales or other things? So today we're going to be looking through net income. So first, let's look at its definition. Net income is the total amount of money left after you have spent all your money earned on the expenses that you need to pay. So we've learned that a lot of expenses in business could be income, could be like interest business, where interest expense where you have to pay money back when you borrowed something, or it could be like cost of goods sold, which is basically whenever you make any products, you make any inventions, you're gonna need to pay an amount of money to make that producible, right? And so there could also be other forms of payment, such as operating expense or other expenses for employees, etc., which also is included in the operation expense. So let's look at how to calculate the net income. So we calculate net income through the income statement. Remember, income statement will cover basically almost every of these things, and finally it will lead to the net income. So let's say this month I, as an entrepreneur, was able to sell all my products and got the total gross sales of $1,000. That's very great, right? But I cannot keep all of that $1,000 because again, I have expenses to pay for. So first is the cost of goods sold. Now, when I sell, let's say notebooks, and each notebook costs $10. I know that's expensive, but just for reference. And each notebook would cost me around $4 to make. So I sold 100 of them, meaning that the cost of goods sold would be $400. Now here I wrote the $100, the $1,000 which I've spent, and here is the dollar sign. Now down here I do not have to write this anymore because again, they're all representing dollars, right? I just need one here to represent the currency of money that I'm talking about. So moving on, it is the cost of goods sold, which is $400. Okay, now comes the operating expense. I have a whole team that's going to produce the product for me. There's going to be some members too, I need to pay them some money, right? So the total expense will be $250. Now, moving on to the interest expense. Now, I borrowed another business partner of mine for, let's say, $100 for me to be able to buy the materials. I do have money left, but I need to borrow some of it to make sure that the products has enough materials. So I spent another $100 on these interest expense. So now let's calculate the earning before tax, which is the total amount of gross sales minus by cost of goods, operating expense, and interest expense. So here we have $1,000 minus 400 equals 600, right? We minus 100 just for the sake of easy calculating, which is 500, and plus this also 4 plus 2 plus 1 equals to 730. So that means we have 730. So 750, 1,000 minus 750 will equals to 250, right? I'm writing in the order like this, so we were able to know the amount of money easier. Now, here comes the income tax. Now, in my place, let's say we're required to pay 10%, so minus the 10%, which is $25, I would have the remaining of $225. Now, this $225 is the total amount of net income that I have. So after this month, after calculating all of the other expenses that I need to pay, my total net income, which is the amount that I have in the end of the day, is $225. That is how you calculate net income. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.